Okay, guys, I'm Andrea. For those of you who don't know, ignore the sounds in the background. I'm just gonna get right into the video. I'm not gonna explain anything except that I'm reading my first story that I ever wrote. Ignore the little writing here and the sticky note here. This video is gonna be hard and it's going to be long, so bear with me. I'm trying to make it easier. I'm trying to make it better. I don't. So I actually had little earbuds, like I chopped up a pair of earbuds that didn't work, and I took that off because it was in the way while I was reading this. So the name of the story is The Day Everything Changed, and it will make a lot of sense. So this is in memory of my mom, Caitlin, who is my sister. Sorry, I was closing my door because I'm pretty loud. Diana, Bobby, and Lauren. The story would not happen without the support of my sisters Rebecca and Audrey, or without two of my English teachers who told me I could write a narrative essay on this, and I knew then I could turn it into a story. I want to thank you for your help and support. In 2013, right before Thanksgiving, it was the weekend before, to tell you the truth, my mom, sisters Caitlin and Audrey, my best friend Hannah, my cousins Geraldine, Bobby, and Lori, my dad and I all went to McLeansboro, Illinois to have an early Thanksgiving with my dad's side of the family. Everyone over age was drinking, and some underage, I guess. And most of them, had some or many types of drugs in their system. The night of November 23rd, 2013, which was a Saturday, my family had gone down to my dad's side of the family for an early Thanksgiving. I should probably start off by saying how many cars we took, how many people went with us, or went down with us, and who rode in what vehicle. We took two vehicles, my dad's truck and my mom's Trailblazer. There was 9 of us. 4 in the truck, 5 in the Trailblazer. In the truck was my dad, my cousin, Bobby, my best friend Hannah, and I. In the Trailblazer was my mom, cousins Lori and Geraldine, and sisters Caitlin and Audrey. My dad and my cousin Bobby were drinking on the way down there, and as well when we got there. I was handing my dad beers, and my best friend was handing my cousin beers. My cousin had drank all of his beers and then finished my dad's as well. My dad only had about 5 beers. I would know because I was the one handing them to him. Now my cousin had over 15. He somehow, someway managed it in just under 2 hours. When we got to McLeansboro, Illinois, we had to stop at a package store to get more beer, but then to have later that night for the party. When we got there, everyone in the house was drinking, if they were of age, I guess you could say. That went on for several hours. Everyone was having a great time. Let me just skip ahead to around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, when they all left the house in 2 different vehicles, and my older sister Lindsay, wanted to come home. Caitlin got out of her truck and got in my mom's Trailblazer. My cousins Penny and Peggy got out of the Trailblazer and came home with Lindsay. Then my mom and the people in the Trailblazer, my mom, dad, sister Caitlin, Bobby, Lori, and Diana, my cousins, went to the Thrill Hills to have some fun. The Thrill Hills are 7 hills in a row. The next thing I know, Lindsay's on the phone running out of the house. Penny's on the phone crying, saying she's dead. No one wants to tell me anything at all. I'm asking, what's wrong? What's happening? But yet no one will say anything to me, and out of instinct I start to cry, and I don't even know what has happened. But let me tell you who all went if I can remember. When they left the house at around 9:30, 10 o'clock that night, in the Trailblazer was my mom, my dad, my cousins Diana, Lori, Bobby, Penny, and Peggy. In my sister Lindsay's truck was my sister Lindsay, my other older sister, Caitlin, my sister's boyfriend Dylan, and my cousins Rob and Danny Boy. If there was more, I was not told about them before they had left the house. Before they all left the house, they told me this. We will be back in a little bit. Gonna go take Penny and Katie to see to Lynn's. See you guys later. My parents. Now remember that they were all drunk and I was 11 at the time. So there was nothing at all I could do. But after I found out, I kept questioning myself. What if I would have done this or that? And I kept blaming myself even though I knew there was absolutely nothing I could ever do. Because who will listen to an 11-year-old who never told you never to drink and drive? But this one time, it's almost Thanksgiving, and she gets this really bad feeling about it. But doesn't say anything. Because she knows her parents are safe drivers and won't hurt anyone. But what if that feeling that I was having was because it wasn't my dad driving or my mom and it was my sister or someone else? I can't ever say it wasn't my mom because honestly, my mom hardly ever drove when she was drunk with me in the car. But who knows? It could have been her or it could have been my older sister Caitlin. And I can tell you it was one of them because if it was my dad, the seat would have been would not have been all the way up to the steering wheel. Yes, you can say that with all the force of the accident or whatever. But why else would they throw out the driver's seat saying it could not be used as evidence? Anyways, that's enough with that topic. That has nothing to do with this. Well, it does, but it's for many days after the accident. So let's get back on track. Let's see. I think I might have said this already, but November 23rd at around 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, my older sister was running out of the house, and I asked, "What is wrong?" Lindsay then said to me, "Dad has been in an accident." So at the time, I wasn't really freaking out because I knew my dad was a strong man and could make it through anything. Little did I know that my mom, my sister, and my 3 cousins were all in the same car as my dad and the car had been rolled. So then, about 10 or 15 minutes later, my cousin Penny came in the living room where Audrey, my best friend Hannah, and I were sitting, were fixing to go to sleep, and she comes in there on the phone talking to someone crying, saying she's dead. So out of instinct, I start to cry, and I asked, "Who died?" Her response was no one. Then a bunch of people tried to wake up my other cousin, Diana's brother. He had locked his door so they couldn't get in. And then they went outside and started banging on his window. Finally, after a while trying to get him up, they finally did. I'd been texting and calling my mom and sister. Anyways, let's skip ahead a couple of hours. It's now the next morning, and I continue to text and call my mom and sister, trying to get a hold of them. Never got a response, so I knew then something was really wrong. And then I started to freak out. My mom did not respond to me. When she seen I messaged or called her, when I messaged or called her, she would call back or text back right away. Then finally, my sister came down and I asked, "What's wrong? Like, why isn't everyone home yet?" She was like, "We'll talk to you later," and all this other stuff. So then they called my brother, and he said he wanted to tell us. So this is what he told us. Or this was what they had said to us. "Your brother will be here later. He has bad news to tell you." My response was, "Okay." Skipping ahead again, it's now 10:30 a.m., Sunday, November 24th, 2013. My brother just got to the house. He says, "Girls, come sit on my lap." So we do. My best friend sits on his girlfriend's lap. He says, "Girls, as you know, I'm here to tell you very bad news." We say, "Yes, we know, but are we still going to church?" He says, "No, it's too bad." "Okay, so just tell us the news then." So we did, and this is what he said. "Your mom, she paused for a second. "She is dead, and so is Bobby, Lori, and Diana. They died last night." We then asked, "What about Dad and Katie?" They're in the hospital. I'm not too sure how Katie is, but Dad, well, he has some broken bones. Me, I said, I don't know why it says me. I said, please tell me it's not another broken leg. We all laughed. He said, no. No, I'm afraid it's worse. He has 8 cracked ribs, his chest plate is cracked, and his stomach and organs are in his lungs. I can't remember the rest of his injuries at the time. Now that I know my sister's in the hospital, I text my grandma, how is Katie? Is she doing okay? Then she calls because she didn't know how to text at the time. She's having tests for me, and we're hoping she'll be okay. Okay, keep me updated when you are. When are you coming to get us? We'll be there soon. Just gotta wait till after these tests are over with. Okay, I'll let you go then. Call me if anything changes. Okay, I will. Love you, girls. Love you too, Grandma. Now let's skip ahead about 2 hours. My grandma arrives to get us. We have everything packed and ready to go. Then she says, girls, I have bad news. I need you to come sit down for a minute. We need to talk. Okay. At this point, I'd known my sister was gone. Katie didn't make it. The doctor said she was brain dead and that she was basically like a vegetable and there was nothing left for them to do to save her. If she would have survived, she would have had to learn everything all over again. How much more bad news are we going to get today? I can't keep getting bad news. Getting bad news today. First my mom, now my sister, anyone else I should know about. Your brother told you about your mom and cousins, correct? And that your dad's in the hospital? Yes. Is that everyone? Yes, that is. So then we got in the car and left to go home. For several days and weeks, I cried, and I still cry over it to this day. A week after the accident, we had my sister's funeral and wake that weekend, Friday and Saturday. Others also had my cousin's funeral that weekend. I couldn't go to them. Then my mom's was Sunday. I went back to school that Tuesday. Every day, I came home wishing my mom was sitting there waiting for me. Oddly, still to this day, I wish it was just a nightmare or a game that they are playing. Anyways, I'm going to take you to a flashback I always have and try to make it seem like you can see it yourself. It's August 19th, 2014. Around 10 a.m. I believe now. Could be wrong about the times, and I'm sorry about that. Today is my dad's court date. We get down to McLeansboro too early to go to the courthouse. So we go to Dairy Queen, we ate and spent some time there before we had to go over to the courthouse. It's about 11:30 and we go over to the courthouse. And I know I have to testify, so I'm scared and nervous. Don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing. So when we get there, Justin Hood, the state's attorney going against my dad, asked my grandma, my sister, my uncle, and I to go into his office. There was a couple more people, but I can't exactly remember who. Anyways, Justin Hood then started telling me, this is what I'm going to ask you and other stuff. Anyways, the point is, that's against the law because I was subpoenaed by my dad's lawyer, not him, and I was 11 at the time, so I didn't realize it was against the law. So then it was time for them to all go. So then it was time. So then it was time for them all to leave and go into the courtroom and determine how long my dad got. Justin Hood set up a movie and let Audrey and I watch it while they were all testifying. But an hour, maybe an hour and a half later, Justin Hood says it's time for me to testify. So I'm scared because what if I mess up and say the wrong thing and I get my dad's sentence longer? All these what ifs were running through my head. Next thing I know, as I'm walking down the middle of the courtroom into the center and being sworn in, and I go sit in the box next to the judge, and I look over at my dad as the questions continue to come through, and I continue to answer them, and then my dad's attorney gets up and asks me a few questions as well, but she stood right in my view of my dad, and that kind of upset me. Now I had been crying this whole time, and through all the questions, here are only a few. What's your name? Can you spell that? I messed up when I was spelling my name. How old are you? Who all was in the truck with you on your way down there? What do you know your cousin by? How many beers did your dad have on the way down there? So your dad tells me that you also go by Annie, correct? He also said you guys went out to the fair and had a lot of fun together. The answer was Yes, and we took chickens, and my rooster won first place. Everyone starts to laugh. Do you need your dad in your life? Why do you need him in your life? And I had messed up here when I answered. And I wish I could go back to this day and change that. Change that answer. I said, because he's my dad and he's my only parent left alive. Somewhere in all of this, the judge had told the security guard next to me to get me some water and tissues, even though there was tissues right next to me. After I was done testifying, I had to leave the courtroom once again. In a couple hours, 1 to 2 hours later, they came out and say, well, he's been sentenced to 20 years and has to spend 75%, which is 18 years, and I immediately thought, oh my gosh, it's all my fault, I messed up again. My aunt then asked me if I wanted to see my dad before they took him away. And I said yes, I want to give him one last hug and kiss before he leaves for a long time. And the guards weren't going to let us say goodbye to him. But we got a few minutes with him and told him bye and we loved him. And that we would stay strong for him. August 19, 2017 will be 3 years since I told the man that took care of me all my life bye till I was able to see him again. He always told me, if I set my mind to something, it will happen. And thanks to him, I've been able to stay strong. Now, almost 4 years later, it is still hard, and I don't like Thanksgiving to this day. But it is the end of the story, my story, and my first story ever. Here's something I would like to tell my dad if he ever gets to read this. Dad, you are the man who raised me. You may be in prison, but I still look up to you. You spent your life working, and I want to be able to do the same thing, because I want to be able to have a family and be able to provide for them. Be able to provide them with what they need when they need it. I also want to be able to have a family night like we did in Chicago without having to worry about if we'll still have enough money for food and other bills. I never want to ever have to worry about if I'll ever need money. I hate when my family always says you never had money or you never worked, because the man I knew took care of everyone. He loaned people money even though you knew you were never going to see that money again. When you went to prison, you lost everything. But you never worry about that, because you always say, once you get out, you're going to go right back to working again. But if by then I have a family and I have everything I need, I will help you, because you've always helped me. When I was little, and I would just be returning the favor. In 2007, when I was 5 years old, I told you that what I wanted to be, and I still have that dream, and I will keep that dream. Ever since the accident, I have been more inspired than ever. Dad, I want to thank you for raising me the way you did those years you were able to. Love your loving daughter forever and ever. Amen. And Cleo. If my mom was still alive, this is what I would say to her, and I'm going to keep it short. Mom, all the time people say I have your attitude. I always say thank you because I know I took your attitude. Every day I think about you and I wonder what life would be like if you were still here. You were so beautiful and I miss and love you so much. I hope I'm making you proud. See you again someday. You taught me so much in life, and I wish I would have told you how much you meant to me before you were taken away from me. I hope you can help me with my homework through high school, because I need your help with math. I will always need your math smarts. I love and miss you so much, Mom. Love your loving daughter forever and ever. Amen. Here's to Katie. Katie, you were the best big sister ever. You taught me so much in life, and I know you are looking over me today. All the time, people tell me I look just like you. which makes me smile because you are so beautiful and I miss you so much, sis. I love you so much. I hope you can help me make it through high school. I will see you again someday. Love your loving sister forever and ever. Amen. Andrea. I did this to help others understand that just because you remember something like it was yesterday, it's okay. You can get through anything and everything. And everything will be just fine. Continue to do what you do in life. Continue to do what you do in life as long as you like it and want to. Nothing bad or dangerous. So, I still get emotional reading this to this day. I look like a whole hot mess now. But, I still get very emotional. And I plan on reading that story, that same exact story, with just the beginning changed a bit into the theme of our story, which is a dark and stormy night, and I plan on reading that in front of my class. And as you can tell, I get emotional, and it makes it very hard for me. And the last part, like where I'm reading to my family, I am pretty sure I might even take that out, but I'm not 100% sure. So I still get very emotional, and it's going to be hard to stand there and read it in front of everyone and not just break down and cry. So it's going to be very interesting. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll be posting several other videos. I don't know if it'll be tonight or when, but I will be posting several other videos. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.